Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to check fresh release from ICM. This is aircraft which is modeled in 1/32 scale, and plastic actually copies I-16 Type 10, so that's a later version of the famous Soviet aircraft, and you can see it here on the box art. This is a commercial sample, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff if you get it from any official model shop. For example, Modelimex should have them for sale already available, so you can get them right now for quite a reasonable price, I would say. But here we are going to open it and check what is hidden inside. So first of all, box size is typical for 1/32 scale kits from ICM. Here you can see comparison with my hand, and box art is quite nice, I would say. Then on this side here we have some information about the kit. So there are 112 parts, which is not that big amount for 1/32 scale in my opinion, and the assembled model will have wingspan of 282 millimeters. We also have here a short history note in English language in case you are interested, but I would rather suggest to find some reference books as well for more info about this famous aircraft. Here on the other side we have marking profile for the same marking option which is depicted on the box art, and just to prove it, here you can see the two on the rudder. Box design is typical for this manufacturer. We have color printed top section. As you can see, it is quite thin and flexible, so it does not provide any protection. All protection is given or provided with this white box, so let's open it. And here is what we have inside. So assembly manual, we also have all plastic sprues packed into the same plastic bag, and that's pretty much all. Of course, we are going to start with plastic parts, and then we will continue with this assembly manual. So just give me a second. Okay. In the meantime, let me remind you that we are getting money for new photo and video equipment. And you can support us by pressing the donate button on our website. It is quite easy, and it is done via PayPal, so it should be safe and fast. And of course, you will be the one who will decide how much we will get for the new photo and video equipment. Here you can see first plastic sprue. Let's zoom in a bit more. Now it should be better. So here are all those parts. First of all, in the center we have two fuselage halves, left and right. Both are molded together with tail section, but we don't have the cowling section because it is molded separately. Here you can see also tail wings, which should be glued out of two halves, and the same goes for the elevators. And here you can see landing gear wheels, which are also glued out of two halves. Those are some of the engine parts, engine cowling. And if we flip over this sprue, we can see that tail wings, they have the guiding elements inside. Those should be helpful for proper positioning of those parts together. And then we can zoom in a bit more for the fuselage parts. So as you can see, we have those special slots for internal equipment. Here we have special pins. So all this stuff should help you assemble model faster and easier. And for the landing gear wheels, I would rather suggest to find some resin replacement, because in this scale upgrade will be noticeable, and I think it's worth investing into such upgrade. Next we have quite interesting frame, because here we get another fuselage half and also lower wing part. Those ones are needed for the later version. Also we get the new cowling part, frontal section. Also here we have the propeller, elevator, and actually this is aileron, and here we have propeller hub and the new lower panel, which will be added separately here. So lower wing should be glued out of two halves. We will see top halves on the next sprues. Again, here you can see that we have basically the same design as on the previous part for the fuselage, but there are some minor differences in the external detailing. And of course, external detailing here, for example, we can zoom in. It includes recessed panel lines and riveting, which should look good after careful painting and weathering. Next, we have this plastic sprue with engine parts. So even though parts count is not that impressive on the first side, you can see that we have quite detailed engine, even with engine support. And as far as I remember, manufacturers suggest to close it with cowling, but you can open it. I mean, it's worth thinking on how to open it, because as you can see, it is quite nice. Power plant, and here you can see that these two halves should be joined together. Again, we have some guiding elements which will be helpful, and this is the back of the pilot seat, by the way. Here you can see machine guns. We can zoom in a bit more so that you can see them in detail. These are some cockpit ports. Then we have cockpit 4. This is the lower section of the pilot seat, and then we can take a look at the engine parts from the other side. Okay. In 1/32 scale, it's really crucial because not that many kits provide nice power plant out of the box, even in 1/32 scale, which is quite surprising today, but it is like this. Here we have the separate plastic bag with clear sprue. Obviously, it was done in order to avoid possible scratches, so here you can see those transparent parts. Let's zoom in. Here we have part for the instrument panel, also some minor elements for the guiding lights, the frontal section of the canopy, and the target side here. Molding quality looks nice, but you have to use masks or cut them with your own hands, or maybe get them as an aftermarket upgrade. I think Edward will have them for sure. Next we get last gray plastic sprue. Let's position it like this. Zoom out. Now you should be able to see it. So here we have wing parts. Here we would need only those two top halves. Also we have some cowling parts. Again, we won't need this frontal section because, as you remember, there is a new one provided on the previous sprue. We have some parts for the landing gear system and also parts for the cowling. Let's flip it over. Here we have the guiding pins for the wing installation, so no worries, even though this part is relatively big. Here you can see comparison with my hand. It's not that difficult to install those parts. Next we have the assembly manual. Here it is. So this one is printed in form of typical ICM brochure, and we have short history note in Russian and English, technical specifications, safety devices, and paints chart, as well as sign legends. Next we have parts map. So as you can see, as I said before, we won't be using this fuselage half, this wing part, this cowling section, and also propeller as well. Everything will be used from this sprue E. Next, inside we have decal sheet. So here it is. Printing quality looks quite nice. We also have decal for the instrument panel. So cockpit should be more or less detailed, but if it's not enough for you, you can get P set from Edward, which will add even more detailing into this aircraft model. Next, we have assembly process which starts with wing, which is quite unusual, I would say, because we are all used for starting build from the cockpit. But here, as you can see, everything concerns wing, and only on the 5th step we start building something related to the cockpit. This is actually the back seat section. Next we continue with the separate walls that are inserted into the fuselage half, the left half, and then we connect everything with the floor. We continue with instrument panel and control stick. Here you can see some other parts which are added here. Next we continue with tail fairings. As you can see, they're glued out of 2 halves. As you remember, we saw it on the big sprue. Here we installed the pilot door, and with this one, manufacturer does not show the possibility to open it, but I guess you can think about it if you have some figurine to add to this build. Next we start working on the engine. Note that each exhaust stack is molded separately, so it will be quite a work to do. Here we continue with cowling ports. We install all this stuff into the place. Note that here engine shown in the open state, so it's worth thinking how to open it, just to show all this detailing inside. Next we continue with landing gear system. Again, I remind you, try to find some resin wheels. Here we continue with some final touches to this aircraft, and then we have first two marking options. This one comes from 1939, this one is also 1939, Halcyon Goal July, and last two come from Western Front summer 1941, and this one is Murmansk region summer 1941. As you can see, these are quite simple marking options, but it is typical for I-16, so there is no surprise in it. And still it is nice to see 4 marking options included in a big scale kit out of the box. So that's all for this video review. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also press the bell button, it will remind you about any new video reviews published on our channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye.